Hi, I'm Roy from Roy's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 2012 Subaru Outback. I'm going to show you how to replace the rear brake pads and rotors. These are the tools I'm going to be using today to do this job. A hood prop, rubber mallet, 14mm wrench, 10mm wrench, flat tip screwdriver, an air gun, caliper piston compressor, Phoenix brake flusher, a vacuum hose, ceramic grease, anti-seize, suction ball, bottle of water with a hole on the top, and brake clean. These are the parts I'm going to be using today to do this job. Rear brake rotors, rear pads, and .3 brake fluid. Okay, first I'm going to be removing this rubber cap from the bleeder screw, and I'm going to be loosening up the bleeder screw while the caliper is mounted. So I'm going to be removing the caliper. There's two bolts, 14mm bolts. Okay, removing the pad. Removing the caliper mount. There's two bolts right here, one here and one here. Okay, removing the rotor. This guy is kind of stuck on, so you're gonna have to hammer it. I'm gonna be compressing this piston in using my piston compressor. So now I'm gonna be opening up this bleeder screw, so when I compress the piston, the fluid will come out of the bleeder screw. I don't want to compress it and then all this dirty brake fluid goes back up to the master. I'm going to be cleaning these rotors with my brake clean, removing all the oil. So I'm going to be transferring this rubber plug to the new rotor. So before we install the rotor, put some anti-seize around the hub. Installing the rotor. So I'm going to be lubricating these pins, pulling it out. Lubricating it with some ceramic grease. So I'm going to be reusing the old shims. There's new shims that come with the kit. If you try to use the new shim, a lot of times it doesn't fit good and it wants to fall out. So if you can reuse your old shim, that's the best. Most of the time you can. So just lubricate it. So installing the mount. Putting on my two bolts. Tightening up the bolts. Putting on my pads. Put some ceramic grease on the back side of the inside pad. Just put a little bit. Grease up my caliper. Putting on the caliper. Tighten up the caliper bolts. I'm going to be removing the brake fluid from the master cylinder reservoir. So there's a screen in here. I got to remove this. And suck out the brake fluid as much as you can. So I'm going to be sticking in this vacuum hose. Stick it all the way in and then remove the fluid. So I'm going to be flushing out the brake system. So I'm going to be using a Phoenix brake flusher. I'm going to be pumping fresh fluid from the caliper up to the master. So I'm going to be opening up the bleeder screw. Pumping fresh fluid. It uses about half a bottle per wheel. Tighten up the bleeder. I'm going to be removing the brake fluid from the reservoir again. Filling up my reservoir. Putting back the screen. So I'm going to start up the vehicle. Pump my brakes. Just pump it up and down, no more than halfway until you feel pressure. Okay, that feels good. Now with my hood prop, I'm going to pressurize the brake system. One side against the brake pedal and the other side against the seat. Opening up the bleeder screw, make sure there's no air in here. Okay, that looks good. Lock it up. So I'm going to be shooting down the bleeder screw with some water because brake fluid is water soluble. So I'll blow this guy down. So I dried it off. Now we're going to be pressurizing the brake system. Pressurizing the system, hold it for about maybe 15-20 seconds, and now we're going to check for leaks. We're checking for leaks. Everything looks dry. Put back your rubber cap. Make sure you top off your brake master cylinder and you're good to go. So that's how you replace the rear brake pads and rotors. If you have any questions, comment below. Make sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I see you in the next video. Aloha.